Hi guys, welcome to another YouTube video, and today I want to talk about magic systems. So for my world building, right, I was really struggling with what kind of magic system to create. Okay, so I did like some research and stuff, and I found so many interesting things about magic and world building, and I just want to discuss it with you guys, and I want to talk about it. So let's get into this. And yeah, let's get into it. To start with, I would like you to excuse my hair. I haven't really untied them since last night. I was up all night, so excuse me for that. Now, getting into the magic. Now, for me, what really helped me understand these systems, for I had to make a lot of notes. I'll be referencing to them. What really helped me really understand the systems was kind of like relating them to different TV shows I've watched and books I've read to like get a real grasp of what each magic system entails. So I'm going to start with giving you first, I'm just going to tell you what exactly hard magic is, what exactly soft magic is, and then we are going to get into examples of what it really is. So in hard magic, the rules are clear, they're consistent. You would generally, if it's in a book, you'll either find them in a prologue. Somewhere they will tell you the rules of the magic. Okay, so you will know its limitations. You will know what it can do, what it can't do. If you do something, what price you have to pay for it. Everything will be known to you. Okay, and in soft magic, it's more like a mysterious, vague vibe. It's like magic is mostly used to kind of like inspire this feeling of awe and fear instead of actually used to solve problems. That is the difference between hard and soft magic. Now, in rational magic, you have a coherent system through which the magic operates. It is not random. There is a certain ritual or rules or system that you have to follow in order to perform rational magic, whereas irrational magic is mostly driven by emotions or dreams. Something that's, the best example I can give you is the difference between a wizard and a wizard and a mage. A mage uses elements and emotions and these naturally innate things to perform magic, whereas a wizard uses a set of rules and regulations and a system of spells to perform magic. So a wizard is like a rational magic user, whereas a mage is like an irrational magic user. I hope that makes it a little more clear. So magic essentially exists on this axis. So on the x-axis you have hard magic, on the y-axis you have rational magic. And the negative of the y-axis, you have irrational magic, and negative of x-axis, you have soft magic. So everything that you read, play, watch, if it's fantasy and it has a magic system, there's a good chance that magic system exists within one of these four quadrants. And the best way to understand how exactly it plays out to have this magic, and the best way to understand how exactly these magic systems really operate is to kind of like, or how they play out when you actually see them in a book or a show, is to relate them to a book or a show or a movie, for example. So for me, the first thing that I wanted to relate to was Supernatural, the TV series, and Dean Winchester, by the way. Anyway, going forward, I think Supernatural was, it kind of made you think that they have a hard rational system, because think about it. There's rules and there's regulations and everything, right? There's limitations, there are prices to pay for magic, completely hard magic, right? And then it seemed rational because why? There was a system. You couldn't just randomly do things, you couldn't just incite stuff. There was a coherent system that needed to be followed. There were certain rituals that needed to be undertaken in order to perform this magic, right? But when you really look into it, it is actually soft, not hard magic. Because why? Think about this. Every single time they say that this cannot be undone. Oh, if you're a demon, you have to die. Suddenly, one of the main characters who has plot armor is in the same situation, and boom, out of nowhere, there's a ritual. You can actually perform a ritual. So it's like, so the rules are not that coherent. The rules are largely based on the narrative and the mood that is set by the narratives. So Supernatural is a great example of soft rational magic. Now, if you want to understand what hard rational magic is, for me, I think the best example for hard rational magic that I can give you is, I had made a list. Yeah, so Mistborn, the trilogy, that is the best example for hard rational magic. And like the earlier books of Harry Potter, there are certain rules and regulations for magic, but honestly speaking, as the books progress, Harry Potter gets more towards soft and irrational than it stays towards hard and rational. But the starting books, they're the best examples for hard rational magic, in my opinion. So, but if you disagree, you know what, I would love to hear whatever you have to say. And now, soft irrational, The Lord of the Rings. That's the best example for soft irrational. There's really no rules or regulations. It's mostly just a vibe. So soft irrational magic can kind of be explained as this like a fever dream vibe, whereas hard rational is more like a math course, if that makes sense. That is the best way I can explain these. Now, in my opinion, The Witcher has such a wide array of magic that I think it definitely deserves a mention. So in The Witcher, you see elemental magic, okay? You see chaos magic, you see the sign magic, which is essentially The Witcher's combat magic, and on top of that, you also have artifacts and everything. So Witcher has like a little bit of everything. The chaos magic and everything gives you this very soft, irrational vibe to the whole magic thing. But then you get elemental magic, which seems more rational than it seems irrational. So Witcher is something that is all over the place. I would say it has a little bit of all four quadrants in it, which is crazy because it's just one universe. How does it have that much magic in it? And somehow it makes sense. Somehow it makes sense. It just does. It makes intuitive sense for that existence. So that's something I really like. Secondly, maybe a lot of people have not played this game because it's an RPG, Blades of Light and Shadow, and it's one of my favorite RPGs. So it is one of the best examples for soft and irrational magic, because the characters, they are so there's magic, but not everyone can perform it. It comes naturally to elves and it comes naturally to certain human beings. So it is not something you can learn to perform via learning certain rules and regulations. No, it has to be innate to you. Secondly, if you use light magic, it takes away some of your life force. But how much life force does it take away? No one knows, you know? So that makes it irrational. So if you haven't played that RPG, by the way, you should. It's really good. And it's a great example for soft irrational magic. So my personal favorite is fire magic, which I am actually trying to play with in the world building book that I'm in the world building that I'm doing for myself. And it's just something about fire magic. I just love it. And you know what would make, if you're working with elements, right? To make it interesting for your reader, you kind of could add like a condition. This is for hard magic. Like, you can control fire, but only under certain conditions. For example, only at a certain temperature. Or, you can control water, or you can control blood, but only under these certain conditions, which makes it all the more interesting. And I feel like hard magic is very good if you want to deal with certain plot inconsistencies if you're writing, or if you're just like really struggling with so hard magic is very useful if you want to give a satisfying conclusion to a story or a chapter, or like or a certain scene, because when you really don't know what to do, like, I don't know what to do with this character, I don't know how to go forward in the story. If you just add a rule in your magic system, addressing that, that could actually give you a really satisfying way to end that chapter or to end that saga or whatever. So that is why hard magic is something that I personally prefer in my magic systems. I do like the appeal of soft magic, but soft magic is not for problem solving, right? It doesn't really solve any problems. Hard magic is what solves problems. So that is why I like hard magic better. One more type of magic, and this is not on the axis, this is just like a type which can exist anywhere on the axis based on how it's written. Fey or glamour magic. I love it. I love it. I'm not personally going to use it in my world building because I'm more into sorcery and shit like that. But Fey and glamour magic is amazing. For example, the Cruel Prince. Yep. And A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now that is not something I've read. I read the summary of it and then I looked into it. To me, I think it has a huge part of Fey and glamour magic in it. Should I read it? Tell me if I should read it. Because currently I'm already reading something, so I'm probably just gonna like read it maybe after I'll put it in my to be read list. But I think Fey and glamour magic is really good. Again, there's this RPG, The Cursed Heart. And I think that really has the Fey magic in it, which is chef's kiss. So good. Fey magic is really good if you want like a soft romantic tone to your book, or whatever it is that you're writing. For me personally, I don't like the soft romantic this thing for like at least writing. I like to read it sometimes, but there's just something so satisfying and coherent about like this hard magic sorcery. It's just beautiful when you have rules and regulations and you have to like kind of like work within them to, you know, take down the final boss. It's nothing better than that. There is absolutely nothing better than that. And I mean, see, the thing is, like think about Game of Thrones, right? It had soft irrational magic because where did the dragons come from, you know? There's like so many unanswered questions. Shit is just happening, and magic has this whole forbidden vibe to it. It's odd and it's like feared. So, but it still kind of works. It still kind of gives you a sense that it's somewhat systematic, even though it's really not. I don't know how they pulled that off. I don't know how they pulled it, but they did, and it's fucking awesome. So there's something very satisfying about hard rational magic and actually having limitations, your character, you know, having a price to pay and all of that, and still coming up with a conclusion or with a solution to the problem. Is just, it clicks. It feels more satisfying, and your readers don't really have to know the entire extent of the magic system. Okay, so this can work one of two ways. So I'm gonna get into that. So you can either make sure that your reader is new to this magic system and they have like a mentor figure explaining the rules and regulations to them. So, you know, that way your reader can get to know everything that your main character knows. Or it can be that the character, that whoever your protagonist is, already knows everything, but they're not going to tell the reader right now. But it is understood to the reader that this character knows what he or she is doing. They're just not, you know, telling it to the reader right now. And as the plot progresses, the extent of their knowledge and everything is like slowly kind of revealed based on the plot. You can either do that. So, or the third one, which is honestly such an amazing trope, is that your antagonist is so strong, he or she is so solid that your protagonist has to relearn the entire system and, you know, kind of has to like get a better grasp on everything. And that's when your reader is going to kind of like understand, oh shit, there was this too. You can kind of add elements like that, or you can add like a mentor figure, like your protagonist doesn't know anything and he or she's like completely lost, and then There's this mentor figure that teaches them everything. Like, this is how this works, this is how that works. So there are a lot of ways that you can introduce this. There's something fun about just hiding info from your reader until like the time for the big reveal. It takes a lot of build up. It's kind of like this slow burn kind of thing that you can do. I am very impatient. I don't think I could ever do that. Honestly, I don't think I could ever do that. And with hard magic, right? Maybe add like a few number of rules, but not many, because there's only so much the human brain can process, right? Like, I feel like that was a kind of a problem with Supernatural. There's just so many seasons, bro. Like, it just kept going and going and going and going and going. Don't do that. Every good thing must come to an end, and might as well end it a little earlier, So I think that is all I have on magic. I'll make more videos because I'm really, 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 really enjoying this topic, and I really enjoy talking about it. And the more I read different books and the more I write, I'll have more and more to talk about. So let me know if this is something that interests you, because it sure as hell interests me, and I love talking about it. So that's all I had for this video. I hope you have a good one.